Welcome back, Bond fans! Today, we're diving into the 24th entry of the iconic James Bond series Spectre 2015, directed by Sam Mendes. Whether you're a die-hard 007 enthusiast or just love a good action thriller, Spectre has something for everyone. But what makes this film stand out? Let's take a closer look. After the success of Skyfall, Spectre had a lot to live up to. In this film, we see Daniel Craig return as the legendary MI6 agent, James Bond, facing a sinister organization known as Spectre. But this isn't just another Bond villain syndicate this time, the stakes are deeply personal. Spectre opens with a thrilling action sequence set during the Day of the Dead in Mexico City. Bond's mission to eliminate a terrorist leads him to uncover a shadowy organization with links to his past. But what starts as a routine assignment unravels a much larger conspiracy that threatens not only Bond, but the entire intelligence community. At the heart of this film's narrative is the enigmatic Franz Oberhauser, played by Christoph Waltz. Oberhauser reveals himself as the head of Spectre and, more shockingly, as a figure from Bond's past. Without giving too much away, their complex relationship adds a personal layer to Bond's mission, making Spectre not just about saving the world, but about confronting deep emotional scars. Another standout is Dr. Madeleine Swann, played by Lee Seydoux. She's no damsel in distress, but a strong and capable character who, despite initially being drawn into Bond's world, ultimately becomes a key ally. Their chemistry is palpable, and Madeleine's character brings a welcome emotional depth to the film. The film also explores the changing landscape of intelligence, with Ralph Fiennes returning as M. As the head of MI6, M is navigating political pressure and the rise of a new global surveillance system, leading to a clash of old-school espionage methods versus modern technology. This tension adds a modern relevance to the story. Of course, no Bond film would be complete without high-octane action sequences. From the adrenaline-pumping chase scenes to jaw-dropping explosions, Spectre delivers the thrills we expect from the franchise. The visual style, once again under Sam Mendes' direction, blends sleek elegance with brutal action-making for a truly cinematic experience. And let's not forget the iconic 007 theme that resonates throughout the film. The cinematography by Huip van Hoytema and the soundtrack by Thomas Newman create an immersive atmosphere that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Fans of Bond's gadgets will also appreciate the return of Q, played by Ben Whishaw. As always, his interactions with Bond are full of witty exchanges, and the high-tech gadgets add a fun element to the film. But while Spectre offers everything we've come to love about Bond action, intrigue, and suspense, it also delves into some darker themes. Bond grapples with the idea of his legacy, his relationships, and the toll his profession has taken on him. This adds layers of complexity to a character who's often seen as the suave, untouchable agent. A cryptic message from James Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover the existence of a sinister organization named Spectre. With a new threat dawning, Bond learns the terrible truth about the author of all his pain in his most recent missions. A cryptic message from the past sends James Bond on a rogue mission to Mexico City and eventually Rome. Bond infiltrates a secret meeting and uncovers the existence of the sinister organization known as Spectre. Meanwhile, back in London, Max Denby, the new head of the Center of National Security, questions Bond's actions and challenges the relevance of MI6, led by him. Bond covertly enlists Miss Eve Moneypenny and Q to help him seek out Dr. Madeleine Swann, who may help untangle the web of S. As Bond ventures towards the heart of S. He learns a chilling connection between him and the enemy he seeks. After the death of his beloved boss M, James Bond receives a message which sends him on the hunt for a deadly assassin. But then a mysterious symbol appears on a ring which sends Bond on a personal vendetta which started in Mexico City. He comes across information regarding a sinister organization known only as S. PCTRE Bond's trail leads him to an old nemesis while retrieving information on his daughter, Dr. Madeline Swan, who might hold some crucial information. Meanwhile, the new M fights political interference to keep the MI6 spy branch alive. As Bond pieces together all the clues about S, PCTRE, he finds out a horrifying secret which links him with the enemy whom he must kill. A posthumous message from the previous M. Judi Dench leads MI6 agent James Bond Daniel Craig to carry out an unauthorized mission in Mexico City on the Day of the Dead, where he stops a terrorist bombing plot. Estrella Stephanie Sigmund, a Mexican agent who accompanies Bond on his mission to assassinate Marco Sierra. Bond kills Marco Sierra Alessandro Cremona, the terrorist leader who makes a reference to the Pale King, and Bond overhears it, and takes his ring, which is emblazoned with a stylized octopus. Upon his return to London, Bond is suspended from field duty by Gareth Mallory Ralph Fiennes, the current M, who is engaged in a power struggle with Max Den by Andrew Scott, whom Bond dubs C, the director, general of the new, privately backed joint intelligence service formed by the merger of MI5 and MI6. C campaigns for Britain to join the Global Surveillance and Intelligence Initiative Nine Eyes, and uses his influence to close down the oil field agent section, which he believes is outdated. Secretly, C is an agent for Spectre, heavily involved with their plan to merge 9 national intelligence agencies into the Nine Eyes Committee, thus allowing Spectre the power to take over the world. Bond calls Moneypenny and shows her a video from the previous M. Judi Dench, sent to Bond after her death. In that M asks Bond to track Marco if she were to die. She also asks Bond to attend his funeral. Bond asks Moneypenny to investigate Macro's history and in associates. The previous M also left Bond a personal folder which had the letter of guardianship for Bond to his foster father, and a photo in which the picture of the foster father's real son was burnt. Bond disobeys M's orders and travels to Rome to attend Charo's funeral, as that was also mandated by the previous M in her video message to Bond. He seduces Charo's widow, Lucia Monica Bellucci, who tells him Sierra belonged to an organization of businessmen with criminal and terrorist connections. Bond first saves Lucia from the hitman's sin to kill her, and then he seduces her to extract information that the organization Marco worked for never met. But they called an emergency meeting in Rome to choose Marco's replacement. Bond uses Charo's ring to infiltrate a meeting to select Charo's replacement, where he identifies the leader, Franz Oberhauser, Ernst Stavro Blofeld, Christoph Waltz. After hearing Oberhauser give the order for the Pale King to be assassinated, when Oberhauser addresses Bond by name, Bond is pursued across the city in his Aston Martin DB10 by the organization's assassin, Mr. Hanks Dave Bautista, driving a Jaguar CX-75. Eve Moneypenny Naomi Harris informs Bond that the Pale King is Mr. White Jesper Christensen, a former member of the organization's subsidiary Quantum, who had fallen afoul of Oberhauser. Bond asks her to investigate Oberhauser, who was presumed dead 20 years earlier. Meanwhile, C presents his vision of the Nine Eyes Initiative to the security heads of 9 countries in Tokyo. But South Africans vote against the initiative, and since the resolution is not unanimous, it is not adopted. M is happy and tries to counsel C that 9 Eyes will be against the spirit of privacy. Bond locates White in Altaussee, Austria, where he is dying of thallium poisoning. He admits to growing disenchanted with Quantum, and he tells Bond to find and protect his daughter, psychiatrist Dr. Madeline Swan Lassaydu, who will take him to Lambercain in order to locate Oberhauser. White then commits suicide. Bond confronts Swan and rescues her from Hanks and his forces. The pair meet Hugh Bendwishaw, who links Oberhauser to Bond's previous missions, identifying Lechefer, Dominic Green, and Raul Silva as agents of the same organization, which Swan identifies as Spectre. Swan reveals that Lambercain is a hotel in Tangiers, El American is a place and not a person. At the same time, news breaks of a massive terrorist strike in South Africa, which inevitably leads to an emergency meeting of the security heads of state, called by C, which leads to Nine Eyes program being sanctioned unanimously. C also closes down the oil program with immediate effect. This pisses him off. Swan takes Bond to Lambercane, a hotel in Tangier, and they discover that White left evidence. Directing them to Oberhauser's base at a crater in the Sahara, they find a hidden chamber in Mr. White's usual room, which had the coordinates for the base. Taking a train to a remote station, Bond and Swan encounter Hinks, who gets ejected from the train. In the ensuing fight, Bond and Swan fight together in tandem, and Swan even shoots Hinks in the shoulder. And later they are escorted to Oberhauser's base. After they get down at the nearest train station, a car comes to pick them up. Oberhauser reveals that Spectre has funded the Joint Intelligence Service while staging terrorist attacks around the world, creating a need for the Nine Eyes program. In return, C will give Spectre unlimited access to intelligence gathered by Nine Eyes, allowing them to anticipate and counteract investigations into their operations. Bond is tortured as Oberhauser discusses their shared history. After Bond was orphaned, Oberhauser's father, Hans, became his temporary guardian. Jealous of his father's affection for Bond, Oberhauser killed his father, staged his own death, adopted the name Ernst Stavro Blofeld, and went on to form Spectre and target Bond. He reveals that he is ultimately responsible for several tragedies in Bond's life, such as the deaths of M and Vesper Lind. Blofeld also shows Swan the video of Bond confronting her father and helping him commit suicide. Blofeld then proceeds to torture Bond on a modern raft. Bond and Swan stun Blofeld by setting off an explosive wristwatch in his face, and the two escape to London to prevent Nine Eyes from going online. In London, Bond and Swan meet him, Q, Bill Tanner, Rory Kinnear, and Moneypenny with the intention of arresting C. Swan and Bond are separately abducted by Spectre operatives, while the rest of the group proceed with the plan. After Q succeeds in preventing Nine Eyes from going online, a struggle between M and C ends with C falling to his death. Bond is taken to the ruins of the old MI6 building, scheduled for demolition after Silva's bombing. Blofeld is still alive, but now scarred over his right eye. Tells Bond that he must escape before explosives are detonated in 3 minutes' time or die trying to save Swan. Bond finds Swan, and they escape by boat as the building collapses. Bond shoots down Blofeld's helicopter, which crashes onto Westminster Bridge. Blofeld survives and manages to crawl away from the wreckage, only for Bond to confront him at gunpoint. Blofeld dares Bond to kill him, but Bond refuses and instead leaves him to be arrested by him. He reunites with Swan and to leave the bridge. The next morning, Bond collects the repaired Aston Martin DB5 from Q and drives away with Swan. So, how does Spectre compare to its predecessors? It's certainly a worthy follow-up to Skyfall, even though some critics argue it's a bit more predictable. But with its stunning visuals, complex characters, and intense action sequences, it's still a thrilling entry in the Bond saga. Did Spectre live up to your expectations, or did it miss the mark for you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our future videos on all things Bond. Until next time, 007 fans, stay sharp.